Welcome back to Hot Takes, the motorcycle show for busy people who love motorcycles. And today I want to talk about MotoGP and specifically Ducati. Ducati is the bike to be on, and the big question right now is who is going to be Bagnaya's teammate? Because Bagnaia has signed a contract at the start of the year for 2 more years. He has 2 world championships under his belt, and his bike is quite secure. However, out there on the track, there's a couple of riders that are beating him on a regular basis. So the first one is Martin. He seems to be the favorite. He is out front a lot. He took a clean sweep this weekend at Le Mans, and he took the sprint, and he also took the main race on Sunday. Bagnaia showed a lot of pressure to him and was even leading the race for most of the race, I believe. However, in the end, Marc caught up to him and just nipped him out. And Marc is on a 2023 bike, whereas the other 2 guys are on the new GP24s. So what does that mean for who will be his teammate for next year? Ducati has been very tight-lipped and hasn't said very much about it. So if you look at the evidence, Bastianini, although he's riding very, very well, he really behind the other 2 guys. And he does not have as many points as Martin or Marquez. So who do you want next to Bagnaia? Well, there's pros and cons to both of the riders. And let's look at Marquez first. So the pros to having Marquez, he is a proven world champion. And with that comes a lot of respect. With that comes a lot of fans. And many times motorcycle manufacturers will pay extra for a rider who has this kind of fan base. Because they end up selling a lot of merchandise, and it's really good for their brand. However, Marquez, he is a controversial character. He and Bagnaia have already tangled once, and they crashed, and he can be a difficult person to be a teammate of. Would he want to ride for Ducati? I believe that he would. He does seem to be gunning for that team position. He has mentioned that he wants to be in a factory squad next year. He's made that known. He is currently not being paid by Gresini, and so any sort of big paycheck would be good for him. However, expect him to be quite expensive. Honda paid him a lot of money, and so he probably wants to get back to making a lot of money. He has shown that he's worth it, and he wants to be paid. Now, Martin also wants to be paid. At the end of last year, Martin was very sore that they kept Bastianini in the factory squad, even though Martin on the Pramac beat Bastianini in every race and challenged Bagnaia and almost took the championship. He felt like he did enough to show that he should be in the factory squad. So are contracts a problem? No, contracts are not a problem. All of these guys are contracted to Ducati, and they can move people down to the Pramac squad or up to the factory team whenever they want, without breaking contracts, without having any issues with that. So why did they not promote Martin? Well, because he's Spanish and he's not Italian. They do have a history of giving the factory guys a shot at it. You know, they gave Miller a couple of years, even though he didn't perform as well as they wanted. However, now the pressure is really on because they have some really, really good choices, and they need to choose wisely. Martin has shown that he is faster. He's the fastest guy in the grid right now. And so he's also younger. He's 26 years old, and Marc is 31. So if you go with Martin, you have a longer career before he retires. So that can be something to look at. Also likely, you might be able to negotiate a lower salary for Martin because he is younger and he doesn't have 8 world championships under his belt. However, he does think that he's worth a lot of money. And so he might not necessarily be the cheaper option, even though you would expect him to be. So Ducati has a hard choice on their hands, but it's better to have 2 great choices of riders, or 3 actually great choices of riders, than having none, right? So they're actually in a very enviable position. So we'll see, who do you think they're going to choose? Marc or Martin? let us know in the comments. I hope you've enjoyed this episode of Hot Takes, the motorcycle show for busy people who love motorcycles. And please smash that subscribe button, like this, and join us again next time.